I'd like to welcome you guys to another weekly installment of Pokemon What If Wednesday, where every Wednesday morning I go through last week's investing and collecting questions, where your guys' questions will actually be featured in the video, and one person's question will be on the thumbnail every single week. So please drop your questions down below for a chance to be featured in next week's video. And just know if I did comment to you saying great question, I might use this, and I didn't, please drop the question again and I'll try to get to it. I can only do so many questions per video. And then too, I'm not saying I know it all, but when I'm unsure of something, I always like to talk it out and get a few other people's opinions and stuff. It always helps me make my final decision. And I wanted to say thank you guys so much for all the support. It's been absolutely crazy. So please, if you like the content, make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a like. And just know if you leave a comment, I comment back to every single person. Even if my comments quadruple from here, I'm still going to do that. I feel like it's the least I can do. And let's blow up these What If Wednesdays. Let's get them up there with the Market Mondays and Falling Fridays. And you can also join my membership. It's only 99 cents a month. You can also check out my Instagram that I started, showing off my collection. And I also have an eBay store with 100% positive feedback with over 20,000 cards sold. And I'm also going to Card Party in a couple weeks. So please let me know down below if anybody's going to Card Party. I'd love to meet you. But all right, let's get to it. First question, and the question that's on the thumbnail, is from user ZL4DF4HM9J. If I had enough money to buy a booster box case, which Scarlet and Violet set should I buy? All right, we are starting off. So we're going to actually look at the case prices on TCG Player here. So Twilight Masquerade, $560. They're almost all the same price except for Paldea Evolved. Now, if Paldea Evolved was normal price, it's got a little hyped up recently. Let's say it was around $100. I would for sure say Paldea Evolved. But paying almost $300 more, $250 more, that is getting up there. So if it were me right now, I would probably go, I want to say Paradox Rift. Temporal Forces, I feel like, is a fan favorite. But when you really break down the sets, Paradox Rift is a top tier set. It has the best variety out of any Scarlet and Violet set that cannot be argued. Like, best variety of different generations. I mean, the special illustration rares are beautiful. There's really nothing to complain about Paradox Rift. So if it were me, I feel like Paradox Rift would be a no-brainer. Otherwise, I'd go with the Scarlet and Violet base set. If you think about it, it's the oldest Scarlet and Violet set, so it's more likely to go up sooner. And then it's the first set ever for English with these silver borders. We're done with the yellow borders now. So that's history right there. Plus, it's one of the best base sets we've ever gotten. Like, it can't even be argued. It's that good. So those would be my two. And then two, Temporal Forces, I feel like, is going to be pretty solid in the future. It's just pure Generation 9. I know they're remakes of popular Pokemon, but I have yet to hear anybody say they like the remake more than the original. So that's what has me a little bit worried. But all right, next question is from Noel Savkov. Should I sell my Tag Team GX booster box? I bought it for $144 back in 2021, and it's up to about $450. I would really like to invest in some more English alt arts. Thanks and love these videos. Look forward to them every Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Really, really appreciate that. So let's take a little peek here at the tag teams. Now, I love this box, but with the whole Japanese thing going crazy right now, I would actually be leaning towards selling that. I mean, you already made pretty good profit. But now here's my problem. You bought something pretty low, and now you want to sell it and buy stuff when it's kind of high. That worries me a little bit. You could very possibly sell this, buy a bunch of alt arts, and a year from now, those alt arts be 50% less than they are now. So if it were me, I would take that money and maybe buy one box or two boxes of something, on the low that could possibly do the same thing this GX box did, and then buy a couple alt arts with whatever money you have left over. So that way, it's not as risky just buying pure alt arts when they're all high. You could buy whatever, Paradox Rift booster box, Paldea Evolved booster box, even a Japanese 151 booster box, stuff like that, and then buy some alternate arts, just so that way it's a little safer. So that's what I would personally do. All right, next, Escalade SD. What are your thoughts on the Blissey V from Chilling Reign? It's on the rise, but is it a fluke or a good investment? Just pick one up just in case. Now, I actually really like this Blissey card, and I think it is the best Blissey card out of all the Blissey cards we've gotten. It's better than the Trainer Gallery and all that. I think it's pretty cute, and I'm not even a fan of the cartoony cards. But again, with all the alternate arts getting hyped up, I really can't see it getting too much more expensive than this. Maybe a $40 card, but I don't think Blissey's quite that popular. but I could be wrong. I mean, we got just sales right around $30. Let's check the 1 year low here. Let's see what you could end up possibly losing if you bought it, let's say for 25. So, I mean, the year low is 16. So worst case scenario, you lost $10, but I don't know. It could maybe be a $35, $40 card. I do enjoy the card though. And everything in Chilling Reign is just going up. I just did that on my Market Monday. Chilling Reign was one of the best sets that almost every alternate art is still just going up. So, all right, next question is from Varnsey20. What are your thoughts on Pokemon Center ETBs? I thought they would do better, especially after selling out on the Pokemon Center website, but they seem stagnant. If you really look at it, a lot of them are actually doing pretty good. I mean, 151's doing great. Celebrations is doing great. Paldea Evolve's doing great. I mean, all the Scarlet and Violet sets are actually doing pretty solid. I mean, even the Fusion Strike Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box is moving up. This is still available on the Pokemon Center website. I just think it's going to take some time. You got to think the booster box will always go up first. You know, a couple of these specialty, ETBs are going to move up a little bit, but you're really not going to see big growths until that booster box really takes off. Just like the Evolving Skies ETB now, finally starting to move. It's just like 125, 130 roughly. So that ETB could easily be $150 ETB very soon. And it should be for the booster box being $650 to $700. But yeah, it's just going to be a slow ride for all these Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes. And the Sword and Shield ones, you got to think, they don't have the promos. The Scarlet and Violet Pokemon Center Elite Trainer boxes are the best Elite Trainer boxes we've ever gotten. It's not even comparable. We get the most packs. We're getting 2 promos, 1 stamped. It's just top tier. So I really think the Scarlet and Violet ETBs are going to do really, really well. So I think it's just a little more time. I mean, the oldest Pokemon Center Elite Trainer box isn't even that old. I'm not even sure what it was, like Pokemon Go or something like that. But yeah, I think it's just going to take a little bit more time. All right. Next question is from Kingslaya6876. Would you rather buy Crown Zenith ETB or V-Star Universe booster box if they are roughly the same price? All right. So myself, I prefer English always. I've been in Pokemon basically my whole life, and English has almost always been worth more. It's just been the last few years when Japan had that crazy boom. Otherwise, English is almost always worth more, like 99% of the time. So I personally stick to English, but I do have a couple of these booster boxes. I think they're very nice. And I love that they actually have the Charizards in this set and they're not promos, stuff like that. So it is a super good box. But it looks like the cheapest one you can get on eBay is like $65 to $70. And now for Crown Zenith ETB, you can get it a little bit cheaper, around $50 to $60. So I don't know. It's tough for me. I'd personally probably do Crown Zenith, especially if you can still find it in the 40s. But again, there's so many, you never really know. But with just the whole Japan market just being unstable, it just worries me. And if you think about it, Crown Zenith English, everybody loves it. I have not really heard one person say they don't like it. I've heard a couple people say it's a little overrated, which is just not true. Unless you can find that V-Star booster box, getting in the 50s and 40s and stuff like that, then that's a very, very good deal. Because, you are getting a booster box too. So, I don't know. They're both very solid, but I personally would probably go English just because I prefer English. All right, next. The Candy God 3787. Question. Do you think I should sell my Espeon VMAX Alt Art from Fusion Strikes or wait to see if it grows in value? Love your videos. All right. I love this Espeon card, and I feel like it's kind of weird because it should be in Evolving Skies. Like, it shouldn't be in Fusion Strike, to be honest, at all. All right, let's check some prices here. 220, 214, 200, 269, 449. The 400, I'm guessing, is graded. PSA 10, yep. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like it could definitely gain a little bit more value, but not too much more. You could possibly get it graded, too. I don't know if you have it graded or not. Always take the chance of that, especially for these high-end cards. Because worst case scenario, it gets like a 9 and it's worth either the same amount or a little bit more. Especially for these high-end cards, that's usually worth more than the raw. So I feel like grading it would be a great option. So, you've seen the PSA 10 price. But this card could easily get hyped up next too. It is technically hyped up already. But this could be the next $400, $500 card. Rayquaza VMAX right now is going absolutely crazy on TCG Player. Sales for $600, $700, $800 raw. So I would definitely hold on to it and just watch the market like a hawk. All right, next. At Diceener, what is the max you would pay for an Astral Radiance booster box? I want to get one, but not sure when I should call it quits. Okay, so let's check out Astro Radiance. Let's see the prices here. 184, 186, 176, 194, 185, 184, 180, 185, 180. So looks like if you can get it for 170 to 175, that looks like that's a good deal. Honestly, I'd still buy one of these at 170 bucks. People thought I was crazy buying Unified Minds at 170. You know, I bought them from 140 to 170, and I've done very, very well. Not saying this is going to do nearly as good, but Astro Radiance is a lot better than people think. They think it just has a Machamp, but it has the Dialga, Palkia, and it has the Starmie, which is the best Trainer Gallery card, and it's going crazy. So I feel like 170 is fine. I'd pick up a couple. I wouldn't go crazy, but I would totally feel fine getting anything Sword and Shield Trainer Gallery with Alt Arts. But all right, let's get to the next question. It's from Chris Jodlowski, 1744. Thoughts on Premium Collection Flareon, Jolteon, Vaporeon V? Just looked and those things in PSA 10s, and they are starting to get pretty darn pricey. I can't imagine much more enters the market either, specifically in 10 form. So I've actually opened a few of those boxes, and yeah, the promos do not come out perfectly. So the 10s are pretty rare. We're just going to take a little peek at the Vaporeon, probably the most popular one. So this is a Vaporeon V. So on June 2nd, it sold for $476 on auction. Before that, it was $610. $600 before that, $565. Someone got one here for $299, but that was in April. So, I mean, the VMAX, let's check some of the VMAXs here. $225, $289. So people like the V better. It's probably a little more rare too. I'm not sure, like, pop-wise. But it is a beautiful card. I personally wouldn't spend that much on any of these because, I mean, they're expensive. I don't know if they'll be like $1,000 cards down the road because there is a good amount of those boxes. And a lot of people are keeping those boxes sealed. If these cards get any more expensive, people are going to start cracking their boxes open. So if you have any of these, you know, I would probably definitely try to get them graded if you think that's close. If it has a chance, I would definitely take that chance because the payoff is definitely worth it. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful cards. I love these guys. I wish I would have bought more of those boxes. It's one of my biggest regrets. I just love them so much. But all right, next question is from It's a Jeep Thing 31. What would be a better investment long-term, the Charizard from Trading Card Game Classic or the Charizard from Celebrations? Super good question. All right, let's take a little peek here. Here's the Charizard from Celebrations. Now, it's commonly known a lot of people do not like this stamp. I'm not the biggest fan of it either. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. But let's see here. Prices 83, 82, 85. People are buying quantity. Wow. 84, 83, 83, 84. So in the 80s, let's check the Trading Card Classic one. 101, 100, 101, 101. So now here's the thing. We got two options here. So we have the Charizard Trading Card Classic, which comes in a very expensive box. I mean, the cheapest a box will probably ever be is $200 to $250, like ever. And in my opinion, it's a better looking Charizard. Let's flip back, flip forward. So with that hollow pattern, it really, really shines. And then without the stamp. So I kind of like the Trading Card Classic game more. But then again, you have to pull this Charizard. And here's the thing, it's in Celebrations. Celebrations is going to do a lot better than what people think. So, I don't know, it is a tough call. I personally do like the Trading Card Classic one better. I think it looks better. And being that big of a box, I can't imagine they printed, you know, millions of those boxes. Because it is the biggest, most expensive Pokemon box ever created. So yeah, it's a tough one. I'm going to go Trading Card Classic one. But I really do think the Celebrations has a tiny bit better potential to really boom in the future. I just feel like the Trading Card Classic one has better odds of just always being a little more expensive because it's, you know, in such an expensive box. But you never know with Celebrations. You never really know. Those anniversary sets can do really, really good sometimes. But I for sure agree that the Trading Card Classic one looks better than the Celebrations one. But all right, let's get to the next one. At Dirt Squids 9854 also just bought a lightly played Near Mint Legendary Collection Charmander because it's my favorite Pokemon for 151 from eBay. No scratches, just one slightly weird edge. What do you think about that value? It's for personal collection anyway, but curious what you think of vintage pricing at the moment. It's funny too, a lot of people think, you know, vintage is just dirt cheap. Well, I remember a lot of prices before even Pokemon Go. So now I used to buy legendary collections. You're not going to like the price, but I used to buy them for anywhere from $10 to $30. The good ones being $30, $40. I believe Charizard was like $80, $90. So these are still very, very expensive to me. I'm used to those prices. And I still need a bunch of legendary collections. This is the only set that I do not really have complete for vintage. It's a big set. I got like half of them. And now I don't want to buy any of them because they're so expensive. So, I mean, at $150, I know it is. Let's see, we got a Bulbasaur here at $152. So that is the price. So you didn't really overpay for what the market is now. It's just that comparing to what it was before, I mean, Charmander was probably a $20 card before, so in near mint. I think this is now known, though, as one of the most popular sets in the world. So I feel like $152, I can't see it getting a lot cheaper than that, maybe like $100. But it's tough. It really depends on the condition, too, with these guys. And I did click near mint for all these, so they should be near mint. But I mean, let's see, you've got a Nidoran for $40, Nidoqueen here for $33. Now I feel like that's a solid price, you know? I feel like that's a little bit more what I'm used to. So I'd probably buy that at $33. Gengar $152, Alakazam $135. And remember, the green means these are sold prices. So PSA 9 Kabuto for $129 or best offer. See this Fearow here, near mint $64. It's pretty expensive for a Fearow. Might be really, really nice though, because these in PSA 10s are very expensive too. So a lot of people hunt for that. But I think most people now know, you know, if you have a mint older card, get it graded. So the Charizard here, $620. The Mewtwo $300. I know I have the Mewtwo. So super, super cool cards. Honestly, the best reverse holos we've ever gotten. I would take these over the Pokemon 151 Japanese Master Balls any day of the week, 10 times over. I know those are technically a little more rare, but I mean, technically these would be more rare now because let's see, you go open up a box and you get one reverse holo per pack. So for the Japanese 151, you get one Master Ball per box. But a pack of this costs more than a Japanese 151 booster box. So yeah, I love these. And at $150, I feel like that is kind of expensive, but I don't know. I don't think they'll get too much cheaper. Like I said, maybe $100, but everybody knows now this set is great. So I feel like it's okay. Next, NC Engravers. I have a Charizard pre-release staff card and a PSA 8. I want to trade it into a Moonbreon. Move it into something else or long-term hold. I have 650 into it right now. All right, let's take a little peek here. So I'm guessing you mean the Evolutions one, but I'm not sure. I think there's a couple other ones too, but so the Evolutions one, we got a $1,725 here. That's a PSA 8, April 2nd. To be honest, if it is the Evolutions one, this Charizard is kind of a grail, but there's going to be way more people who want the Umbreon than this card, to be honest. So I feel like trading this card into an Umbreon would be an okay idea. I mean, you're trading it into, honestly, a more popular Pokemon card. And it looks like if this is your card, $1,725, you could sell it right now, make super, super good profit and get that Umbreon, which that Umbreon is actually going down a little bit in price. We're kind of getting sales all over the place. Like Arizona TCG just got a PSA 10 sale for like $1,700, but we've seen a bunch of raw sales for like $700, you know, and it was at $900 all day. So prices are all over the place. So maybe if you can just find that super, super good deal, especially with this now selling at $1,725, you know, it looks like that's the new high for that. I would definitely sell it now, probably, since you have this good sale here. You could probably get similar. And yeah, I feel like it would be smart to get into an Umbreon, but it is sketchy just because you're buying the Umbreon at the top. So that's why I said definitely, you know, maybe wait a little bit, find that good deal. But, you know, I'd probably throw my XY Evolutions Charizard on here for $2,000 right now if I'm the only one on there. I'm not sure what else is available, but I doubt there's very many. So yeah, I love the staff cards though. I think it's super, super cool. All right, next we got Mystic Muth 8411. Team up Latios and Latias Altart. Buy, hold, sell. Thanks in advance and love your videos. I appreciate that. Let's take a little peek. Every time I see this card, it just breaks my heart because I've had multiple chances to buy this card really, really cheap and I didn't. You know, at 200, 400, 500. Nope. And it just keeps going up. And I get it. It is that beautiful. Super hard to pull. It's in one of the most expensive modern sets ever. So let's take a little peek here. 849 doesn't say here. Damage for 424, 800, 848, 854, 870, 825, 549 for a model you played. So I mean, mid 800s. Would I buy this right now? I personally probably would not. I do have a feeling this will come back down. Let's see what this low was here. 722 in the last few months. Let's see the year high. So, I mean, it was $621 a year ago. I don't know. I could see this card coming back down to $500 one day, but you never know. This thing could just keep going. But personally, I'm very, very patient. You know, I need this card. Like, I actually need this card for my tag team set. I have a ton of tag teams. I'm almost completed. This is one of the few ones that I need. I'm just going to probably wait and see. But yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's so expensive now. And the PSA 10 is even going crazy also. One of the few tag teams that's still kind of moving up. Unless I had a couple, I would possibly think about selling one right now. You know, just imagine what you could buy with just selling one of these. Let's say it's just raw and you sell it for $800. You can go buy 8 Scarlet and Violet booster boxes and just think of the potential on that. I mean, if it was graded in PSA 10, you could buy so many boxes of whatever you wanted. So you got some potential there. So I think it would be an okay time to sell. Looks like it is leveling out a little bit. You know, but I mean, it says 70.91 and we got a bunch of sales in the 800. So that graph is always a hair slow. But yeah, I don't know. I love this card. I'm personally going to wait and hopefully it comes back down. You know, this could be my last tag team card that I need, but super cool card. All right. Next, Anthony Johns 957. Love your channel and vibes, man. So Costco still has a 151 UPC in stock for $89.99. I have one already sealed, but thinking about picking up 2 to 3 more. Do you think it's a good time? Absolutely. And I mean, at $90 for the UPC, that's not terrible. I mean, the cheapest anybody was really getting these for was, I think, was like $70. And you got to think, you're still $30 below MSRP, which that's what it is right now in the secondary market. It's like 115 to 120. So I feel like that's definitely a good deal. And especially since you only have one, I always recommend to have at least 3 of each thing. So you have options. You know, you can open one in the future, sell one, hold one for 30, 40 years, do whatever you want. And I honestly think this is such a good UPC. I think it's better than the Charizard UPC. It's just top tier. And the promos actually are both going up in price in the box right now. So definitely good time to get it. Next, Toxzilla Speed 2374. Where do you see the Charizard V-Star Rainbow going? Last Rainbow Zard. I've been stocking up on raw ones for 50 to 65 bucks. PSA 10s for around 150. Here's the thing. I actually really like this Charizard V-Star. Not a fan of V-Star cards, but I actually really like this one. I mean, getting a Rainbow Charizard, which is not easy to pull, for 50, 60 bucks is a good deal. So it looks like the low was 50. Let's check that 1 year high here. Was down to $48 was the low. High was 66. So if you can get this card, like I said, you know, for 50, 55 bucks, I think this could easily be a $100 card one day. I think all the Charizard cards are going to boom again. I feel like actually relatively soon, maybe in the next year or so. I think Charizard will definitely have its day. But yeah, I love this card, and I would totally buy this card at $50. I've almost bought it a few times, but they were pretty rough. Like, they were definitely lightly played and not near mint. So if I'm buying anything modern, I'm always buying it as nice as possible. But yeah, I like this card, and I think it's super cheap. And it's in Brilliant Stars, one of my favorite Sword and Shield sets. Yeah, love it. Next, B-Rad PT. I like to open products. Always enjoy pulling cards myself instead of buying. So if we had $1,000, what set would be best to open and possibly get money back with raw cards? Then he wants to know vintage, booster pack, booster boxes, ETBs, blisters. Now, that's a super hard question because honestly, you're almost never going to make your money back. What I would do is just buy heavy packs if you really want to gamble and have some fun. At least you know you're getting that guaranteed holo with the potential of a PSA 10. That's probably your safest bet. And it is super fun opening those vintage packs. It just doesn't last long. And set wise, there's so many sets. It kind of just depends on how much you want to open. You know, you can buy $1,000 pack or you can buy 10 $100 packs. So just, I would look at the cards and see what you really like for those older sets. And then maybe buy some heavy packs. Because I have opened quite a few heavy packs, and it is fun knowing that there is a guaranteed holo in there. It is a blast. And then, yeah, I've actually gotten, when I opened 5 heavy fossil packs, got all holos, and all of them got PSA 10s. So I got super, super lucky. And even all the cards inside, I got them all graded and they all got PSA 10s. It was wild. So you can definitely make your money back if you get lucky with like good quality. But again, if it were me, I probably wouldn't do that, because especially holding something vintage, I can't do it anymore. It just breaks my heart to open those super old packs, especially because I have all the cards in those packs now. So it's tough for me to open them up. I'd rather just keep them sealed. All right, next question is from Scarlet9688. Hey man, love the channel. If you had 1,000 to invest in slabs, what cards from what company would you grab? Cheers. So I mostly have PSA, so I'd probably stick with PSA. Otherwise, I'd go Beckett Black Label, but then again, you're paying top dollar for that. And then the CGC Pristines right now actually have a good amount more value than the PSA 10s. But I would say PSA 10s are the easiest to sell, and they actually sell the most. Like, that's just a fact. So PSA 10 is your safest bet. And then me, I personally always like to buy cards when they're on the low. So right now I'm stocking up on a bunch of really nice trainer gallery cards in PSA 10s that I prefer and like, because they're just literally $30 to $60 a card for a PSA 10. So I'm doing that all day. I try not to buy cards when they're super hyped up. Unless it's for my personal collection, then I don't really care. I'll buy whatever I need to buy to finish my collections. So yeah, and I know there's a lot more companies coming out right now, and you can go with them. Just know they're going to be harder to sell in the future, and you don't know how good that company is going to be doing in the future. But you know, PSA, CGC, and Beckett are still probably always going to be around. All right, next question is from @SoonerSquatch. Great info every week, man. Repeat question. I really need to do something with tracking my collection investments. What do you use? I was thinking I might use PokéData. Your thoughts? So I used to track everything, but I have 16 different collections, like not just Pokemon. I collect a ton of other things. So it's really tough for me to keep track of everything, like how much I have into it. So I actually stopped keeping track of everything. All I do is just write down what I buy in my notes, and that's all I do. I don't care how much value I've gained, because I'm not really selling anything. You know, I'm a collector and fan first, so I don't really care how much value I've gained. You know, I'll figure that out when I go to sell it. But yeah, and I don't really want to know how much I've spent either, because, you know, I just set aside money every month to do it. But yeah, I just write everything down. But I've heard a lot of people do use PokéData, and I think it's pretty solid. But yeah, I just, you know, keep all my receipts if I'm paying cash. Otherwise, I always, you know, make sure I keep my receipts, my bank statements and stuff like that. And then, yeah, I just write down what I paid for it, just so I know what I paid. And then I have the receipts also. So super easy. Just make it in your notes. I think it drives people crazy looking to see how much you've gained and stuff like that. Unless you are a hardcore investor and you like, you know, selling when it's high, which you should honestly do. You know, when you've made 10 times your money, you should probably sell it. I know so many people that have lost a ton of money, even in like crypto and stuff, because they didn't sell. You know, it could be this. Well, you already made 50 grand. Just sell it and take the 50 grand. You know, stuff like that. So, and they did lose money, those people in crypto, by the way. All right, next question from Chrome 5112000. Yo, Pokey, love watching your videos in the morning. I have a question pertaining to buying singles. Should I be picky when picking out singles? Even if I do not plan on getting them graded, should I be critical on centering, hollows, etc.? Thanks for answering all the questions. All right, well, I personally am not the pickiest person when it comes to like centering and stuff like that, especially for my personal collection. I just don't really care that much. And down the road, if I ever want to replace something, I do. Like I do that with vintage all the time. If I'm 1 or 2 cards away from completing a set and I'm in a store and they got it there for lightly played, I'll buy those. And down the road, I'll replace them and get nicer cards and stuff like that. Because when they are lightly played and they are, you know, off-centered, you can barter. So just know if you're in a card store and that card is pretty off-centered, you could possibly barter and get that card cheaper. But otherwise, for modern, I do try to stick to mint cards. You know, no whitening, no nicks or anything like that. A little off-centered is totally fine to me. I mean, PSA accepts 60-40, and I've seen them accept 70-30 for PSA 10s. So yeah, I feel like a little off-centered is totally fine. But again, I would not pick up cards if they have whitening and stuff like that for modern. Vintage, different story. But for modern, it should be a clean card. Little off-centered, not a big deal. All right, next question is from JG Clips7901. Should I buy now on the high-end alt arts like Rayquaza and Gengar or Giratina? So I always actually try not to do that. It's just much, much safer. Now I have missed out doing that. You know, that's why I didn't want to buy Umbreon at $400 or $500. I felt like it was too expensive. And now look at me. I was wrong. But again, I've done that so many times to where I was right and I saved so much money. You know, so many cards get hyped up that I really, really want to get it, and then they just come crashing down. Like, I was so tempted during the boom to buy a lot of vintage stuff, and I'm so happy I didn't buy one thing vintage, because I would have overpaid and lost so much money. So again, I always just try to, you know, hold off and wait. You know, you see it come down a little bit. Like the Giratina, I need all those cards. The Rayquaza, Gengar, and Giratina, I need all those. So I'm right with you. And I have every alternate art, but I'm missing 6 of them. So yeah, I'm going to wait. I'd get the Giratina around 350. Rayquaza is going crazy right now. And I feel like Gengar will come down also. Yeah, I would just wait a little bit longer. I do not think they're going to be these prices forever. So next, Garth Richardson 2847. Hey, if you can only master one set out of these 3 sets, which one would you choose and why? Paradox Rift, Temporal Forces, and Paldean Fates. You guys already know I'm choosing Paradox Rift. We're getting the most different generation Pokemon out of any set, and it's one of the biggest sets along with Paldea Evolved. Like, it's going to be tough to complete, but it's going to be so beautiful. The most amount of special illustration rares, the most amount of illustration rares out of any set for Scarlet and Violet, along with Evolved. So super, super good set. I would choose Paradox Rift, especially a lot of the cards are very undervalued right now. Next, Sir Fisticuffs. Hey PB, repeat comment you replied to, but how do you feel about cheaper alternatives to booster boxes like build and battle displays? Size and weight are drawbacks, but some of the promos are dope. Just remember, booster boxes are king. It's just cannot be denied. They will always make the most amount of money. So if I were you, I'd probably just try to stick with booster boxes. I mean, the displays will do great, but the booster boxes are going to do better. It's just a fact. It's crazy. So I would stick to booster boxes. But all right, next is from Manum SC2366. I recently purchased a mini set of Charizard, Blastoise, and Venusaur, the 3 of them PSA 10 from the set of Celebrations. Very nice. The interesting of the mini set is that they have consecutive certificate numbers. Do you think that fact can give them more value if I try to sell them in the future? Definitely. If you do sell them in the future, make sure you mention that in the title. Definitely mention that. People love that. Like, seriously love it, especially because they're all 10s, same numbers, in consecutive order. It just cannot be beat. So yes, definitely mention that when you sell it in the future. You'll get a little more value, guaranteed. All right, this is from at Nid Gaming Yo-Yo. I recently am wanting to get back into collecting Pokemon cards. I only really have the urge to collect singles and unopened sets with the goal to make money over the course of 3 to 5 plus years. Maybe try to complete a few sets with lightly played or mildly played cards in the meantime. If you have a couple $100 to spend a month on cards items, what are the things you recommend to start out with? Would it be just better to save for 2 to 3 months and get some bigger items like booster boxes? So yeah, booster boxes are always going to be king, especially if you're only in it for the money. I don't think collecting sets is going to be very smart, like value wise. I would definitely stick to just buying some booster boxes. Maybe pick up a few like cheap singles and stuff like that you think might boom. But I really wouldn't try to complete sets. I feel like you're going to waste money doing that because you're looking for certain cards. I would just pick up some booster boxes when you can. Pick up some cheap singles and some PSA 10 cards whenever you can. And I feel like that's your best bet. But definitely booster boxes are king. All right, next we got Kono Hemia. Do you think that Scarlet and Violet era SIRs will one day have anywhere near the growth of the Sword and Shield alts? I've been scooping up all the Pokemon SIRs I've found for good deals, especially the 151 SIRs. So I do think they will do good in the future. I don't think they're going to do as good as the alternate arts just because they're much easier to pull. We got more of them printed, so there's just going to be more of them out there. But I think it is very smart, especially the 151s. Also, those are some of the toughest pull rates we had was in 151. So I think sticking to 151 would be super smart. And then just really getting the more popular Pokemon special illustration rares. I don't think everyone's going to do good. You know, I'm thinking like the starters, the legendary Pokemon, and then like other Pokemon like Tapu Koko, Altaria, you know, stuff like that. That's why I love Paradox Rift. So yeah, I'm also picking up special illustration rares. I do collect every illustration rare and special illustration rare, but I'm getting extras to sell. So yeah, there's so many good deals. All right, next question is from Theo131. Will cards from these newer sets keep getting bought out? I was waiting for the Raging Bolt to keep dropping, but see it shot up over 100 in the last 2 days. And see, that's the thing. I really think that is market manipulation. I do know Raging Bolt is doing great for the TCG, but that still doesn't mean the card should go from $50 to $100. That's what people like to do too. They take the best card from the TCG, and that's one of the cards they like to buy out and hype up. Because why not? I mean, people are actually going to want it. People are thinking, oh, I need to get it for the TCG. You got to remember, there's multiple cards that do the exact same thing as the special illustration rare. But yeah, I know it's great for the TCG, but I do think it is getting hyped up a little bit for sure. It should be like a $60, $75 card, in my opinion. It is the best card in the set, TCG-wise and art-wise. So I think it should be a pretty expensive card. But yeah, I said it like a month and a half ago, almost 2 months ago, that this card was going to be the best card in the set, and I believe it was at $45 when I said that. But yeah, you did technically miss out a little bit, but I think it will come back down. Not sure when, it might take a little bit, but yeah, I think it'll be about a $75 card. All right, next question is from Angels Pokedex. Another awesome video, brother. Should I keep buying Sword and Shield ETBs for around 30 to 35 shipped and tax included? Some as low as 25 from TikTok Shop when they have the 15% off coupon. Kind of depends. Are they showing up super nice? Are they all mint boxes? If they are, that'd be okay, especially if you can get it for that $25. But just remember, booster boxes are king. We've said it many times in this video. So if you're spending a lot of money on that, you might just want to, get a couple booster boxes. But again, if you're getting Sword and Shield ETBs, this might be our last year to be able to get those really cheap. So, I mean, it's okay getting a few Sword and Shield ETBs of some popular sets, especially at the $25 mark, $30 mark. Very solid. So I feel like it's okay. And especially if you can't afford booster boxes, if you can only afford, a $25 ETB every couple weeks, totally fine. Totally fine. Next, BFF Tough 6388. Should I open or invest in Paldean Fates? I don't plan on buying much more of it, but I feel like opening ETBs would suck if the set skyrockets in price. Thank you. I do not think Paldean Fates is really going to skyrocket. I mean, look at Hidden Fates. Hidden Fates is $150 in ETB, and that came out years ago. Yes, it did have multiple reprints and very large ones, but still, Paldean Fates, I don't think it'll skyrocket. I think it'll be cheap for the next couple of years. So if you got it, you could definitely probably open it, chase those raw shiny cards, and hopefully you pull the Mew or Charizard or something. But I think down the road, 3 to 5 years, then you're going to start seeing a little bit of value. But even then, I don't think it's going to have a ton of value. All right, next, at Slick Monster, what would you recommend if I wanted to sell my entire sealed and graded collection? I am up about 40% total, so I have some room. But with it being a mix of items, I wasn't sure. Yeah, that's a tough one, when you got, sealed and graded and raw and stuff, to sell it all at one time can be difficult. Your best options would probably be go to a card show, sell it. But then again, they do 70 to 80% of value. So you're missing out on money there. You can sell it all on one eBay lot, which they take like 13%, make them pay for shipping, tax, all that. You're losing like 15%. Otherwise, Facebook Marketplace is a very solid option. It is very time consuming. But yeah, you could throw it on Facebook Marketplace, try to sell it all at once, otherwise sell stuff individually. If you sell stuff individually online, then you're talking, shipping, all that on every item. It gets very expensive. So yeah, it's tough to sell everything at one time. If you can find somebody at a card show that's willing to pay 85%, I would do that. That's the easiest way to do it, to be honest. But otherwise, if you want the most profit, Facebook Marketplace, probably, where you don't have to pay taxes and shipping and all that, and doing it individually probably will get you the most amount of money. Because if you sell it in a big lot on Facebook Marketplace, people are just going to lowball you all day. That's all everybody does on Facebook Marketplace too. Otherwise, you could take like your graded cards and send them into like my sponsor, Arizona TCG, and they'll sell all your graded cards for you. They take pictures and everything like that, and they charge like literally like a 0.5% more than what eBay does. So that's a good option too if you haven't started selling yet. Yeah, you got many options, but none of them are super easy. And that's the thing too. I always tell people, think about selling. It's not just cakewalk to sell all your stuff. It takes time and effort. At Smith J, most of my bag is in Evolving Skies. I have 2 sealed boosters and 4 sealed regular ETBs. I am considering parting ways and putting the proceeds into Scarlet and Violet set at rock bottom. Maybe Paldea or Twilight. Thoughts? So to be honest, I don't know, man. I think Evolving Skies, it's leveling out right now, even coming down a little bit. But I think it will be a $1,000 booster box. Then it'll probably be a $1,500 booster box. It's just going to take some time, especially the ETBs just started going up. But yeah, maybe just sell one Evolving Skies booster box and take that, $700 and invest it in a bunch of Paldea Evolved. I probably would not invest in Twilight Masquerade. I think that is one of the worst Scarlet and Violet sets we've gotten. Not saying it's a bad set overall, but compared to what we've gotten, it's definitely one of the weaker ones. Like I said before in the video, Paldea Evolved, Paradox Rift, Scarlet and Violet base, I think are going to be your best 3 options. And then two, Temporal Force is a fan favorite, I feel like. So, but yeah, it's tough though, because Evolving Skies is the best set. So if it were me personally, I would just hold on to it. I think it's going to gain a lot more value. All right, next we got at Daysum M3487. I understand that financially it may be more sensible to purchase the specific cards you want. However, the thrill of opening packs is undeniable. How many packs do you typically open in a month? Now, recently I haven't been opening that much. We've been just so busy with the baby and everything. But what I like to do is when a set comes out, I like to get some pre-release boxes, go to the pre-release tournament, and then I'll maybe get a booster box or a couple ETBs, usually at least an ETB because I want the promo. And I'll take my chance right there opening. And that's usually all I will open for that set. Unless it's something super crazy and I get obsessed, like Crown Zenith, I got obsessed and I pulled every card and I finished the set. But that was actually relatively easy. Most sets are not easy. So yeah, I always just kind of try right away. And then if it doesn't work out, I'll buy the singles. And once you do pull a ton of chase cards, like no joke, my wife has pulled so many of my chase cards, you start to lose the feeling. It's not as exciting as it once was. And you'll even start forgetting what cards you pulled. You're like, did I pull that card or did I buy that card? Especially for me, I have so many cards and I buy and sell cards too. So yeah, I always just try to do it right in the beginning too, because then if I pull something I don't like or don't want, I can sell it and get the most amount of money usually too. So I feel like it's the best way. I always take a chance. You never know, I like to gamble. See, the way I always looked at it is I love Pokemon so much and I want these cards so bad that I will do whatever it takes to get them. Which, if it means I have to budget my money and buy them all raw in order to actually finish these sets, I will do that because I know realistically pulling them all is almost impossible and a complete waste of money. Like that's why I always say, I always just gamble in the beginning, try to get that chase. For us, it usually works out so I can get the most expensive card pulled right away. Then I wait a few months and I get singles and lots and stuff like that. And that's why my collection does beat a lot of other people's collection when it comes to raw cards, because I have been buying singles for like 15 years almost on eBay. You're going to get the most amount of cards for the least amount of money. And then, like I said, when a new set does come out, I always take my chance, have fun opening, because that is part of the fun and everything. I do get it. It is a blast. But I like the cards more than I like opening packs. I'll go to the casino and gamble to get that urge out. And I feel like the reason is a lot of these big PokeTubers make you feel like you have to pull the card in order for it to count. I've heard kids say this before, like, oh, you didn't pull it, it doesn't count. It doesn't matter. When you go to sell it in the future, nobody cares if you pulled it or not. Half the time people lie about it anyways. So just do whatever, save your money, and buy some raw cards. Like I said, take your chance when the set comes out, when the prices are the most valuable. Take your chance at that chase. But otherwise, be smart, save your money, and just buy singles. It's the smartest and safest way to do it. And you'll end up with more cards than everybody else. If you are buying singles and somebody is opening cards, your collection will beat them 99.9999% of the time. Like I would put my collection up against any big PokeTuber, except maybe like Leonhardt or something, because he's got some crazy grails. But I have more completed sets than I think any other PokeTuber that I've seen. So yeah, I'm a big guy with buying singles. As you can see, very passionate about buying singles. It's totally okay. And just think, it's very exciting when that card is sitting in that mailbox and you run out there, you got to pull it out. It's just as nice to me as opening a pack. But all right, that was this week's Pokemon What If Wednesday. Like I said before, make sure you drop your questions down below for a chance to be featured in next week's video. Let's blow this What If Wednesday up. Let's get it up there with Market Monday and Falling Friday. And then too, like I said before, Instagram, eBay store, card party, all that. I really, really appreciate you guys. And if you guys want to check out my last Market Monday, click this video right here. Otherwise, we'll see you next time.